Hello, I'm coming to you earlier than usual today because I close at my job today and for the next 3 days after today too. So game recaps are not going to be a thing for a while. So in the meantime, I'm gonna get caught up on lost time because yesterday after the shift, I didn't really feel like watching that game and well, apparently, apparently that was the one night where that didn't really matter anyway, because apparently, oh my God, Budenholzer made the adjustment early and stuck with it. Do we need to do we need to watch for pigs flying? Like, it, what's the temperature in hell right now? Has it dropped a little? Like, what? But hey, they stick with this, then well, that just proves Budenholzer just might be a better coach than someone, and that someone's Doc Rivers. Again, I can get into that rant another time, but anyway, uh, the Suns Clippers game from a couple nights ago, I actually was able to watch that. Some thoughts. So early on, no one was hitting their shots, everyone was playing good defense, but you could tell CP3, it felt like, in terms of making shots, he was a little rusty, but, it's like whenever he started to hit them toward the end of the first half, I thought, okay, here we go. CP3 is going to start hitting his shots and, on like a more consistent basis. And then that never happened. Instead, we get, just like in the other rounds of the playoffs, we start getting the Reggie Jackson and Terrence Mann show. And like they just started hitting their shots. Tyronn Lue is a better coach than I gave him credit for in the past. And yeah, the series is now back to 2-1. One thing to be concerned about for the Suns, ever since that amazing game one, Booker's kind of struggled from the field. I mean, game two, he had 20 points, but it was on not so great efficiency. And then, did he even get into double-digit points in game two? I think he might have just barely got over that at the end, but I could be wrong. But yeah, Air Force One man, that's Patrick Beverly, is all of a sudden doing his thing. Of course, did feel like the Clippers were getting away with more stuff than the Suns, but in that game, I don't think it would have really mattered even if they didn't. It just would have been a little closer. Let's see, what else from the game? Zubats. It was funny. He was going off. Obviously, I'd be remiss to not mention, Paul George did his thing. I didn't realize he was the leading scorer, but it was probably because he wasn't doing it like in bunches like Reggie Jackson or Terrence Mann would. He was just picking his spots here or there to, drop a couple buckets here, drop a couple buckets there. And he was also pretty focused on along with Reggie Jackson and Terrence Mann setting everything up. And that included Zubats, who I saw Rusty's video, so that's why I know this off the top, that Zubats had 10 free throws. And when he said that, it's a little surprising, but at the same time, I felt like Zubats was just getting, the way they were having to cover the Clippers perimeter guys, because they were all doing well, other than Morris. But Morris is kind of in between, because he's their small ball five. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, because the perimeter guys for the Clippers were going off, it really opened things up for Zubats, who was just, excuse me, I just had lunch. Zubats, who was just, able to get in the paint, make a couple shots, and again, got to the line a bunch. Now, DeAndre Ayton, early in the game, he was kind of the one good source of offense for the Suns, and then it felt like he wasn't very aggressive after that. I mean, you know, he got a few shots and made a few shots, but it really felt like this was the game where, you know, even though Zubats was playing, you know, okay defense, you know, pretty good at times, but the perimeter guys for the Clippers were definitely doing a better job on defense than Zubats, even though, you know, he wasn't trash by any means on defense. But it felt, you know, it kind of felt like if they were hunting a little more to get Ayton, you know, some more buckets or some more free throws, it might have stayed closer at least for a little longer. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, that's about as much as I could get out of that game. You know, it's close for a little while, and then the Clippers went on that run in the third. Suns multiple times tried to make these little runs to get back in it, and then the Clippers would you know, like do something like score 4 straight points and then, you know, slowly chip away at any chance the Suns had until the game ended. Not much more to say there. In other news, let's see. So, couple head coaching tidbits. First off, Dallas hires Jason Kidd, and you know, as their new head coach, and I forget his name, but some Nike guy as their new GM. Not so sure about that one, Chief. I mean, I'm sure Luka likes the idea of Jason Kidd as the head coach. You know, I mean, obviously Damian Lillard liked the idea, but we'll get to Portland in a second. But his track record with, like, you know, whenever he was the head coach of the Bucks, first off, I don't even remember what kind of offense they really ran. What I do remember is the little tidbit where he was telling Coach Kidd was telling Thon Maker to shoot more mid-range shots. And then on defense, you know, his first year there, they had a trap the pick and roll scheme, which, again, his first year, it worked. And then he kept on doing it, and the league figured out how to beat it, and he never adjusted. So that's great. I mean, I'm sure he'll have something different for this Dallas team, you know, because with the Bucks, you know, the reason for a trap the ball screen defense like they had was, you know, the length they've always had between, you know, all the guys on their roster, you know. But interested to see what that would be with Dallas, especially, you know, considering, like, some of their best role players are free agents, you know, most notably Tim Hardaway Jr. But anyway, on to Portland. They hired Chauncey Billups as their head coach. I don't have any idea what he's going to run. I mean, I know he was an assistant under Ty Lue, but, you know, Ty Lue was an assistant under Doc Rivers, but he runs different stuff from what Doc likes to run. You know, Ty Lue, there's an Instagram page, what is it, the Pelicans Report or something like that. I'll correct myself in the comments if I need to, but whenever he was, you know, doing deep dives on some of the coaching candidates last offseason for the Pelicans, you know, when they hired the disaster that was Stan Van Gundy, he kind of went through some profiles, but also was like, hey, can some of you, the followers, help me with, you know, other outside candidates that might emerge, and he asked me to do one on Ty Lue. And what I remember is, one, on offense, he's a big spread pick and roll guy, but the interesting thing he does is he likes, you know, kind of wing to guard pick and rolls more than just the standard bring up the big. Because, I mean, you know, bigs, you know, all off season, they're trained to kind of do the pick and rolls, whereas, you know, even though with wings and guards, you know, they can switch, they don't necessarily practice that as much. And then you have a wing popping out for the 3-pointer, or or, you know, if the communication's really bad, you get a lane to the basket. You know, I actually kind of like what he does with that. The defense, he does kind of switch everything defense, which in Cleveland, there wasn't the communication needed to do that, but with the Clippers, it seems like that's a little more present. But anyway, on to Chauncey Billups. I have no idea if he's going to run anything totally different. I have no idea what influences he's going to bring there. I guess we'll see. I mean, if he, you know, runs, you know, a lot of pick and roll for Dame, but with a little more off-ball action for him on offense, I will be a fan of that. I don't know what defensive scheme he could bring there, but if it's something that improves their defense, because they needed that forever, I will be a fan of that. And overall, I mean, good luck to him. You know, good luck to Jason Kidd as well, but I have a little more confidence that the Billups thing is going to work out. You know, mainly because he seems to get along with people better. The big problem with Jason Kidd is I mean, it's well documented. He wants control of everything. I mean, that's kind of his personality. And in the NBA, as you know, when anyone kind of gets to be control freakish in an organization, I mean, there's cases where it works out. You know, see, Coach Popovich has a little bit of that in him, but not to the extent that they said Jason Kidd did. But most of the time, it's not gonna go well. Anyway, that's about all I can think of at the moment. Because again, the Bucks Hawks game, again, I didn't really get to watch. Just you know, Trey did that shimmy again in the first quarter, and then the Bucks said, and I took that personally. All right, peace.